Excuse me. Welcome back to Skeleton Knight to Another World. Anime Review, episode number 4. This one's Infiltrating the Slave Market. Yeah, they infiltrating the slave market in search of the world's Ava. Yes. This adapts from the rest of chapter 3 and adapts the first half. Yes, the first half of chapter 4. So this means, because I ran a line, this is actually this is basically the last chapter of book 4, and that means that probably next week they're gonna finish adapting this chapter, the epilogue, and that's it. I'd say by episode 6 we're gonna start adapting book 2 of the series. Also, as of today, I have read the first 7 books. I basically got done 7. There are technically only 2 left that have been released, well, at least here, anyways. And then I'm pretty much up to date. Yes, they did release one just not that long ago in Japan. It was actually released just 1 month ago. Yes, but the thing is, the digital release of this book is not coming out until June of next year. Yes, anybody who likes this series is going to have to wait a freaking long time. Yeah, for some reason it's like that. I have no idea why. Okay, pretty much we pick up exactly where we left. Now, I should point out, though, that chapters 1 and 2 have not been fully adapted. There's actually a good half of a chapter they completely skipped over, both for chapter 1 and chapter 2. Yeah, pretty much yes. The only case, these past couple, they've done a really good job when it comes to adapting it. Yes. Actually, I think chapter 2, they did fully adapt, but chapter 1, no, they did not. So basically, you have Ark basically like, of course, you have Arlene asking Ark to if he wants to hire him, and of course in the book basically he does mention a particular name, which is probably a little bit later. Mention about Comrade, it's been questioned because he's a human per se, and of course we're like no problem, and of course they agree to work together. So of course they go they use Gate to go basically near a particular town. Now, if you're curious, though, is there any, like, minor stuff cut here? There's some minor bits of conversation, but then, of course, they go to town, which there is some stuff cut here. The stuff they cut here mostly is stuff for time. They're basically trying to speed stuff along, keep the good stuff here, keep the story elements. Take, for example, when they arrive at the city itself, which they had to pay a tax in the book. In the episode, there's no mention of it, just they're in the city now. And they meet up with with Arlene's contact. His name is Dracoon. Draka, I believe his name is, which I believe this actually is his first full appearance in the series. Yeah, Drakia. And they do bring up his last name, Neil Maple. Yes. They do, in fact, bring him up here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, he actually made his debut a little bit earlier than this, but they cut him out, basically. All of his screen time he was supposed to have from last episode. Yes, do not know why they did, though they probably want to keep the story moving forward. And so, if you're said, they have a small conversation here, like if you trust them, and then they go get a table. And they eat at this cafe, which in the book, basically, they actually picked out this place completely at random, and they decided to eat here. In the anime, they just cut straight to them basically having this meal and discuss basically about rescuing some elves that were taken as slaves at a particular place, and of course mention about where this base is, which that is actually in the book. Really good stuff here. So they just go at night because basically draw less attention that way. So Ark's like, okay, give me an hour and I'll basically meet up with you. So he takes basically the bandit stuff he took last episode, and in the book basically it's like, really, you're gonna, yeah. And basically when he finishes up, basically all he does, he sells the stuff off for food. Yep, he just buys some food, buys a particular, of course. Also, Arlene does a little thing which basically people love to do with cute animals, where they basically just just scratching him right on their chin, and Ponyta loves that. And of course, Neka basically is so shocked the fact he's got basically a spirit creature. Yes. So he buys the particular food dish they introduced in this episode. This sort of meat on a skewered, along with some fish, honey beer. Yes, honey beer is what they call it. Now, this particular moment, I believe is complete anime original, which is fine. It's not really hurting anything at all. It's just a fun. They probably did this because, well, every episode always has him basically having so much from eating food and having a drink. And since he's not in this time like he was in the previous 3 episodes, here he's eating in an alley. Okay, it's almost like he's having a picnic in the city. Which, story-wise, does not affect anything at all. Yeah, so pretty much in a way, like, after this, basically, they do cut a little bit out where you have Arlie being shocked about the fact he's back. Like, wow, that was quick. Yeah, though they cut the bit out because basically it took a bit longer, and they arrive at the slave house, which basically is an actual castle. It'd just be just a second here. Huh. Okay, so pretty much, so they go in. Of course, they have this brief little scene with these elf girls, where basically, like, they mention, oh yeah, there's a warrior coming, and they're not scared of it. Okay, anyways, this particular one, yeah, so, okay, so, basically, like, sorry about that, I got a bit distracted, so I asked for something on Discord. So, basically, like, they go in, and yeah, so they go in, and of course they teleport right on top because basically the guy is surprised by the fact early on that, because Arlene told him early on that she had, well, he had the arc had teleportation magic, so teleport on top. Which, by the way, I don't know if anybody notices the sound effect is pulled directly from Assassin's Creed. Yes, They literally pulled this from Assassin's Creed. And they had this funny moment of the guys looking away while Arlie is fitting this tiny window where she's like having trouble. Where it's like, oh, she can't squeeze through because she's got a big chest. And then, of course, her butt basically causes her problem. And then, of course, you have Ark and Dirk is basically like, well, they go to a mild Ark. It's like, Ark's like, you should not be embarrassed by your figure. I thought that was so funny. And then they go in, and they, of course, they're able to basically get to this area pretty quickly. Of course, they look around. Of course, they find, oh crap, several of these people have been killed off screen. Now, of course, basically, there's a little bit more goes on here. Mostly some minor bits of fighting. So, then, of course, we have this really cool scene where Ark basically goes in a room, like, seems pretty quiet here, and he encounters a ninja. Yes, a freaking ninja. Oh yeah, Countess a ninja. And this is Kaoru. Yeah, this is her anime debut. No, seriously, this is her anime debut in this very episode. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what she's identified as. She originally was calling herself Mia. Yeah, and this basically is her debut, and she made her debut in book 1, so good job for basically, and of course, basically like a ninja and a cat girl too. Now, in the episode, they actually had a line that was actually in book 2, which was, how do you know what a ninja is? And of course, he doesn't explain here in the book. He explains because, oh yeah, ninjas are spies in my home country. Yes. I'm actually quite surprised they included that. That they included that from her perspective. Include her line from book 2. Not really sure why they did that for, but I thought it was quite interesting. And of course, she gets some info about these documents and where the elves are. So then he meets up with Arlie and Jack, and of course he explains like, oh, one of the villains I captured basically, of course he couldn't tell him it was a cat girl ninja, basically helped them. So you have Arlene using the same spell she was in the book, basically make sure fire, kill the guys. And of course they get down to the basement. Not much of an issue in the book, in the episode. In the book, basically, Ark finds the stairs, and of course they go down, and of course they break down a door, or kill some more guards. And of course, you have Ark freeing them, and then of course they find out, oh yeah, a couple of the elves are kept at the Lord of the Lord's palace, per destroyed to the town, and then of course they all get teleported just outside the town, but they find that manner pretty easily, and you have Ark and Arlene just teleport right over there, and of course they cause ruckus. Yep, and that's where the episode ends. I gotta admit, this actually is a really good episode. Definitely looking forward to next week. So yeah. That's it. So go stay tuned for my review for Case Closed and Kaguya-sama Levels War, along with some One Piece. I got 4 episodes left to go to watch for dub. I haven't reviewed 590 yet, but 790. I'll probably review that later. Okay, next video. Bye.